In celebration of Australian women in surf, we're here on the Gold Coast at Mermaid Beach to share with you one of the most incredible stories of Australian competitive women surfing. It started in 1965 in East London, South Africa. The waters are sharky, apartheid is fierce, and opportunity is small. But out of that circumstance, a fiery natural footer emerged, and she would shake up what was considered possible for women surfing, both on the board and in the eyes of the rest of the world.
It was just the feeling, because I remember that first swell I caught. Oh my God, I was that excited. I remember the smell of the sex wax had just come in, and I remember just like the guys going, go, 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 and getting up on the swell and getting along it. Surfed it till the fins hit the sand and just went, oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever done. And then that's all you live for, the next day and the next day, and just turned up every morning at, like we'd walk down at 4:30 and surfed until 9, 10 at night and just loved it. I was in. I was always at the beach and never remember looking up and going, what are those guys doing? You know, I loved the water. And the boys went, oh, you girls should come to the beach this summer, you know? And I was like, oh yeah. Oh. And that's the first time I saw a surfboard or got on one. So I would have been 12, turning 13.
Do you remember what it was that attracted you so much to surfing?
I think it was just the feeling, because I remember that first, we all do, that first swell I caught. We were about 10 k's from the beach, so they couldn't always take me. They don't always have money for fuel to run me to the beach and back, but I used to just run bare feet, like 10 k's if I had to.
And so was it a dangerous place to grow up, or was it more of an exciting and adventurous place?
You know, it was slap bang in the height of apartheid.
So while all these social pressures are going on land, I imagine then the surf perhaps and the beach culture that you had was the escape from it all.
I just lived to surf. I'd sit at school and just stare out. We could just see the ocean out of the classrooms. Surfing sends you nuts. That's all you think about.
What did Mum and Dad say when they realised you were surfing?
I think they just went, oh, here we go, another sport, you know?
Take me back to that time where you realised, hey, I can make a career out of this, and you turned pro. How old would you have been? Was it about 17, do you think? And
even then, I didn't know if I could make enough money, and you didn't even think about that. Bill Bowman came, I didn't know him, but I got introduced to him, and I was at J Bay just surfing in a men's event, and I think it was Sean Thompson, Michael Ho, everyone was there. I can't even remember who sponsored it. And he just went, oh, you should come over to Australia and surf against Pam and all of them. I think you'd go right. And I was like, oh, really? And like, I'd only ever seen movies of Kira and Burley, and I was like, oh, mate, I'm so going there. I was with Geordie Smith's dad. Graham was my sponsor, my board sponsor at the time. All I could think was, oh my God, I'm going to a whole nother country, like there's this place and I'm going to fly over all that ocean, and it was just mind-boggling. And all I could think about was surfing Kira and Burley, because I'd seen it in the movies. And my dad had no money, and yeah, a friend of my dad's, Mike DeSadler, I used to babysit his kids. He gave my dad the money for the airfare, and I was out. I flew into Sydney, and I got off and there was no one there. So I just sat down and just sat there crying with my big bag of boards and a bag. I just was terrified. My dad rang Geordie's dad and just went, what the hell? And they went, oh no, she's supposed to be in the Gold Coast. I just knew straight away that I wasn't going to be able to travel and do what I wanted to do from South Africa. And it was tough, like those first 3 years of travelling, like I'd cry myself to sleep, but it was pretty rough.
So Wendy, I've seen your Instagram, I love it, and I've seen some classic shots. I'd love to check some out.
First stubbies, 16, fresh off the boat.
Where it all started.
Unbelievable.
Ready to take on the world.
I was pretty happy about being at Burley, I tell you that much.
Did you know who Pam was?
I did.
And had you seen her surf?
No, I'd seen photos of her. And to me, it was just someone to compare myself to that was a lot better than anyone in South Africa. I think I got second to Pam, but Martin won, and he wanted a car, he wanted a van, and we drove from here to Sydney and from there to Bells. It was just nuts. Like, I'm going to die for sure. It was so good.
When you did come on tour, you were renowned for bringing a new level of high performance. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I was quite aggressive in my turns and stuff, just because I always wanted to surf like Potts or Tom Curran or young girls now have amazing women to look at. I didn't have, many girls I looked at because I thought I was better than them. It sounds arrogant.
Was it arrogance or was it confidence, do you think?
Oh, I think I was more confident than arrogant, for sure. Yeah, I was just confident in my ability.
Is that what it takes to be a world champion?
Absolutely. If you're not confident in your ability, you're never going to win a world title.
Lane coming through as well.
Yeah, so Lane was there those last couple of years as well, but wasn't a real phase, but she did beat me once and she still rubs it in. I mean, she is freaking amazing, eh? But as a kid, she was a pain in the ass.
Do you think maybe she saw a bit of herself and what she aspired to be in you?
Yeah, she would have just wanted what I had, and I wanted what Frida Zamba had. In the first few years, Frida was always a worry for me. Man, come Huntington, I'd lose to her every year, and it was so annoying. She was a good competitor. What
kind of training were you doing in that time? I mean, you must have been one of the first to really take a training strategy to it.
I think I was. Such a mental advantage, being fit. You'd look at the other person and go, well, so going to kick your butt because I deserve it.
Let's see where these trophies are, and they are on display as you walk in. Do you have different emotional connections to each one? Do they have their own personalities?
Nah, they're all just like, yeah.
Unreal.
My mum needs to come so she can polish them. She does a better job than me.
It's pretty incredible that there's so much dedication and commitment in these 4 pieces. They didn't just come out of nothing, did they? Not many people can say that they've done this in their career.
Yeah, I suppose.
First world title as a South African.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about that year and some key moments that perhaps set up that victory?
It was close, but I remember that obviously the last event, I had to make the semis, I think. I lost in the quarters. Kim Merrick had to lose in the semis and Tony Sawyer beat her, but so I didn't know. I just went home. I think I was watching the footy and Mark Warren called. You just freaking won a world title. You're kidding. You got to get back to the beach. And I was in shock, and I'd rather have won my heat and fist pumped, and you just feel so good coming from South Africa and East London, and yeah, it was pretty tough.
Ms. Wendy Botha, congratulations.
They rushed my citizenship through for my second world title. It's kind of bittersweet. I grew up in South Africa and people go, oh, how come you left? And I go, well, I couldn't compete and become a world champion out of South Africa. And so there really wasn't another choice.
And what was the reaction from the other Australian women on tour when you became one of them?
I don't think I was ever embraced as an Australian as much as they were, like Pam or Jodie, whatever. It doesn't worry me. It's a whole lifetime ago. I got the world titles. Even they don't matter after you have kids, none of that matters.
The 89 year, 7 out of 12 event wins is extremely dominant.
Yeah, it was so good. I was riding a Weber Insight surfboard. I have it. It's the only thing I have. Everything was boxed up in New Zealand in the stables, and the cattle busted into the stables and they ran through all our stuff in boxes, but it's got hoof prints, like holes in it, and all the fins are flat. They just trashed it. It's in with all the junk. It's the only thing I've ever kept, I have nothing else really besides those trophies. Look at the hoof prints. Look at the fins. Oh look, oops. As if that matters. Have a look at it. So that's the board.
So this board was absolutely instrumental in your most dominant year on tour.
Yep.
Wasn't it?
Yep. It's favourite board ever.
What did you love most about it? Do you remember?
It felt like I could do anything I wanted to do. Never caught any rails, nothing. It was just did what I wanted. It was amazing. That's the day I did my knee.
That's the day?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah. So I was surfing Whale Beach and Peter Jolly Wilson was shooting me, and I pulled into a tube and it shut me down, and I tore the medial ligament off the bone.
What was the immediate reaction after that? Was it shock? Was it disbelief? Was it my career is over?
Like I was absolutely devastated. It's like my life had ended. And to me, yeah, I just felt like, oh, that's it. It's all over. Yeah, you just go on what the surgeon says, and basically his explanation was, well, I've hammered a massive tack back in there and it can't come off. I missed only one event, so I missed Japan, and yeah, and I ended up losing. But I got second, and that's the year Pam won, so I was pretty happy for Pam, but it was still close, I think. I think it still came down to Hawaii.
1991, I mean, to first of all be unlucky, suffer that injury, then come back on tour and win. It's incredible resilience. Do you remember that year and how did you achieve that kind of success?
Oh, the people around me. And I remember that was a really good year, partying in Hawaii.
Describe for us the surf industry at this time and particularly how women's surfing fit in the surf industry at this time.
It didn't. There was absolutely no place for it. None of the surf companies made women's gear. None of them wanted to give big money. We could complain all we want, but there was no reason for us to be on the tour. But when you do think back, we had no place in it, and we were lucky. There were a few sponsors outside of surfing. Like when I was with MBF, they actually sponsored part of the contest at Manly one year, and they gave us equal prize money. 10 instead of 5.
Oh, this is the one you were talking about. So these guys came along and bumped
and
up the prize money.
they were my individual sponsor, so they came into this event and then they bumped the prize money up double. And the boys were filthy. We never got to go out in any decent surf. I can count on one hand the decent waves I had in my whole career in a contest.
It's quite ironic though, the women's surf market emerged in the early 90s and it actually rescued the whole entire industry.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel that momentum?
No,
at all?
It's just happened just after I retired. That's when the first pair of women's board shorts and clothing came out.
Without surfwear, what were you wearing?
Men's t-shirts and whatever else I wanted. Isn't it weird? We fought for everything. We fought for every measly dollar, and we were earning $5,000 for a win, and the guys were earning 30. It was harder for the girls, lower down in the ratings, obviously, because I was one of the few that was making good money. The surfing industry still battled to come up with good money, and we didn't have money for hotels. We stayed in tents in France for 2 years, and then I went from a tent to a lady's garage, and then from her garage, I defected across the road to a granny flat.
First ever surfer on Sports Illustrated Australia. That must have been a pretty monumental moment.
Oh man, I was so stoked. Like just to see yourself surfing on a cover of a magazine, I still can't believe they did it. Prized possession.
And in 1992, Kelly Slater won his first world title.
I was in awe of his surfing ability, and most of the focus was on him because he was like the youngest world champion ever, I think.
Something else that happened in 92 as well was you did a photo shoot for Playboy, and that was your last year on tour. So you did that, caused a massive stir, and then went on to win a world title. See you later.
I did it to throw a spanner in the works as well.
It certainly turned some heads, didn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty full on. Like I had to go like on Channel 9 or something on one of the sports shows.
Some say that her decision to pose nude has done great damage to the female surfers' campaign to be taken as seriously as their male counterparts. You don't think that it's done any damage to female surfing?
I didn't think it would hurt women surfing. I knew that it couldn't hurt anybody except me. A few people go, "Oh, do you think you've hurt women surfing?" There was that question. Yeah, and the answer is just no. I paid my mortgage off and then I retired.
Won a world title, then retired.
Yeah, so
in the same year.
Win-win for me.
And you retired at 27. Most people would retire around 30. Was it based on injury that decision came about?
It was a bit of both. I needed surgery on my knee because I dislocated that one and I had to have a big screw put in there, and I'd met Brent, and I'd rather gone out on a good note than coming fifth.
Do you think if you didn't fall in love that you would have gone back to competing?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Why is that?
Just because love conquers all. Like, as much as I probably had 3 or 4 more years in me, it was just easier just to go surfing and have fun, yeah. Because I would have hated to have come second.
And watching the girls compete now, is it excitement, is it frustration? What are the emotions when you're sitting here?
Just a lot of envy. What they do is, honestly, I think it's amazing how good they are, and then I think the WSL has done a fantastic job.
So Wendy, we're basically in your front yard. You're down on the Gold Coast, what a beautiful spot you've got. What do you think it is about surfing that's just had you hooked for so long?
I can't live without getting in the ocean. When I was a kid, I actually used to feel sick if I hadn't been to the beach because my parents couldn't take me or whatever. I used to make myself ill almost, you know, and my mum would go, no, it's in your head. I'm going, I've got to go to the beach. Like, honestly, it's just the strangest feeling. You just have to get in the water. It just calms me and I don't think about anything else. The day I can't surf, I'm just going to roll under the back wheel of someone's car when they reverse out of the driveway because I'm checking out. It's the best thing that ever happened. I don't know what I would have done or who I would have become if I didn't surf, so pretty lucky.
Well, Wendy, on behalf of Sally Fitzgibbons Foundation, thank you so much for the opportunity to share your story and your incredible achievements and the amazing things you've done for women surfing.
No worries, pleasure.